Hey everybody, how you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Welcome to another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything on this Wednesday, the 10th of March. And how did it get to be March already? I don't know about you, but it feels like time is flying by. And it was about a year ago now that we went into this pandemic and got on lockdown, and it looks like before too long we may be coming out of it. People are getting vaccinated, and I know there's some people out there that are not going to get vaccinated. But if the majority of us do, I think we're going to be okay. A reminder: if you are interested in private voice over lessons with me, you can just visit davefenoy.com, click on the Study VO tab, and book yourself. Also, if you sign up at davefenoy.com as a student, you will get information. Well, one, you'll get my PDF on how to read copy, and you will also get updates on where I'll be teaching and deals on teaching and that kind of thing. I have a guest today. Oh, don't want to forget, Connection Open. Every now and then, that Source Connect doesn't work for you. Check out Connection Open. It has saved my butt, and I'm hoping at some point it becomes just right there with Source Connect. Anyway, I have a guest today, very interesting guy, good friend of mine. He's a voice actor out of Atlanta, and you know what? I'm not going to tell you anything else. I'm just going to bring him on. Mr. Dane Reid, where are you? Where are I hear you. For some reason, I'm not seeing you. I don't.
I haven't done anything different. I
Uh,
haven't touched anything.
you were there before. I don't know what
I
happened.
promise I didn't break anything.
You, man. Well, you know what? I may only have your voice. I'm not sure if I hit that. Nope. For some reason, the Skype doesn't work. Now we were checking out earlier today, so I'm gonna right now. I'm gonna go back to just this screen, but you can be heard.
Do you want to try it? Do you want me to kind of chime in again? Do you want to try that again? That part?
Well, no, because what it looks like is Skype on this isn't working now. It's not bringing up your camera. It used to. The technology changed. We had earlier today. We had a little test run, and for some reason, your Dell computers couldn't.
You're trying to PC shame me again.
Yes, I'm PC shaming you. For some
I
reason,
do this all the time, okay?
for some reason, you're
This Mac versus PC thing. What did PC do to you, Dave?
I had a very bad experience many years ago, and PC was not good to me. Mac's always been my friend.
Oh man, Mac is not always been my
Well,
friend.
you know what? Yeah, and I understand it. So let's leave the Mac PC thing alone, and I won't pick on you for not being able to connect, just like everybody else did.
Yeah,
But
all right.
that said, and just for jollies, no, that's not going to work either. So we're going to hear you, but we won't see you. I'm sorry to say. Because for you ladies out there, Dane's a very good looking guy. But, you have one of the most interesting careers of all my friends
Okay.
because one of your loves in life is traveling. You travel probably more than anybody I know, more than me, and I travel a lot. And my question is, we're going to get to that.
All right.
One, how did you get started in this business? We'll come back to the traveling, but you started off as a producer, yes?
Not exactly. I started off as a substitute teacher, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I started off just a guy who graduated college. I did go to school for mass media arts. I did a little bit of work at the student radio station and also some interning for what was Hot 97.5 at the time here in Atlanta
Uh huh.
because that was, my major. recently there have been a lot of changes when it came to radio and these big companies. And the companies lay people off, and people are afraid, and they act the way that people are afraid when they're going to lose their positions.
Yeah.
And they treated people, not so nicely. And I said, that's not the kind of environment that I want to be involved in. Um, and I come from a family that's very deeply rooted in learning. And so working in the school system for a little while worked for me for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But as I, became of age and I'm going to clubs and listening to the radio, where's the hot spot to go? I started paying very close attention to the production value and the voiceover value of these commercials. It just, these guys on these commercials seem so cool. They were imaging guys who did these nightclub commercials, and they were big voice guys, and they were just allowed to say whatever. And they would come out of character. They're the big announcers, and then they would come out of character and say some really cool stuff. And I was like, wow,
That's who I want to be.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And I was like, I want to do that. And I'd sit there and imitate them in my car and stuff. And this is 2003, 2002, somewhere around there. And, people always told me, hey, you have a great voice. People hear that all the time. But what do I do with that? And so I start searching the internet, and I found a voiceover talent here in Atlanta. And I really wish that I can remember who this talent was. It was a female talent who just gave me some advice. She said, go find someplace that you can record a demo and whatever, right? Back in those days, I guess, going to see a coach wasn't wasn't the first line of advice that they gave you. Mm-hmm. It is now.
Oh, so yeah.
Please heed that warning. Like, don't do it like I did. But I went into the studio. I called these guys on the phone, and I could tell that they weren't excited about recording a demo with me. And I really played up my New York, urban. Yeah, I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna record. You know what I mean? What do you want me to do? And I played this role with them because I could tell it was annoying them up to the time that they gave me my first line, and they said, "Go ahead." And I'm like, all right, this right here. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Visit CNN.com/influentials and watch CNN for this special series sponsored by IBM. And they were like, what? And so they said, read this line right here. And I read all these lines. They put this demo together. And in the end, they didn't charge me for this demo.
Now, why didn't they charge you?
They said to me, we do demos for people all the time. You're the first person who's ever come in here who we think will actually have a voiceover career. And I was like, wow.
Okay. Now what year was this?
This was 2004.
2004. Okay,
yeah.
Now, once they gave you the demo, how soon did you start working?
It was maybe a few months later. Mm-hmm. I got a commercial gig. I was sending it out feverishly. I got an agent here in Atlanta, and a few months later, I got 2 commercials that paid me $75 total. For it was a local.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh out loud like that.
It's okay. I'm laughing with you. You're not laughing at me. I'm laughing with you. We're laughing together.
It reminds me of one of my first gigs when I was still in San Francisco doing promos for TV 20. And they would pay you by the hour. So as many promos as I could do for TV 20 in an hour, I would get $25 for. Yeah, and I was happy to have the work.
Yeah,
Oh
I was
boy.
excited.
Yeah.
It was like $75. What? So
That's a
I
bunch of
did
Happy
these.
Meals.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so I did them. And then there was nothing. There was nothing for a while. I would go to my agent's office to audition
Oh yeah.
and never landed any of that stuff. Well, I continued trying to learn how to produce the ads that I mimicked that inspired me to want to become a voiceover talent to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going to meetings of African American radio people here locally in
Right.
Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I met a mutual friend of ours, right? Postman.
Oh, the postman. Yeah.
Yeah. Post the meeting was going on and Post walked in with probably 10 minutes left in the meeting. And when Post walked in, everyone was looking around like, like,
It's postman.
right, Postman just walked in. And I don't know who this guy is. And so I walked up to him like, who are you? At the end, after everyone had, dissipated, I'm like, who are you? What do you do? Why does everybody, look at you like that?
Why did
It's
the
like,
room get quiet when you came in?
exactly. Well, it really did. And so he was like, yeah, you know how Post does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm the postman. I do these commercials. And and so I looked him up and I realized he's one of the guys who I had been hearing tons of commercials
Tons of
around
commercials
Atlanta.
and radio imaging,
Yeah,
both in Atlanta and in Texas.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was he
all over.
was he was the fly jock, Tom Joyner's guy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like, wow, you know? And so he tells me if I want to learn how to produce these commercials that, just come over on Thursday. And I was like, what? Like, okay, I'll be there Thursday. And I was there Thursday. And then I was there the next Thursday and the next Thursday and the next Thursday. And Post taught me how to put commercials together, how to produce not
And
only
let me interject. He didn't
Mhm.
charge you anything for this,
He didn't charge me anything
so
for it.
you
No,
you you just you just got a free education.
I got a free education from Post. He was just we just vibed. Post was just super cool. I came over there regularly for months,
Yeah.
learning how to produce not only the club ads, how to put together some imaging stuff, how to put together car ads, how to put together. I mean, Post just laid it out for me,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was kind of like his intern.
Yeah. Um, so he could get you to do some of the work he didn't want to do.
No, and I didn't. That's the thing, right? Like, so I didn't do a whole lot, for his actual ads. I would just sit there and I'd watch, and then he'd say, okay, try this. And the funny thing is that he used Adobe Audition at the time, and I had already started practicing with Cubase and Nuendo. So I've never actually learned how to use Adobe Audition, but it was the concepts of putting ads together that I learned
Yeah.
from Post.
Now, from being a producer, learning to be a producer, how did you turn that into a voiceover career?
Yeah, so the idea was that I was a one-stop shop. I was the voice guy and I was the producer at the same time.
So,
And so
no,
what it allowed me to do was take these completed ads to local advertisers, wherever the local advertisers were. So I started, of course, here in Atlanta and pitched to the local advertisers here.
mm-hmm.
And I failed miserably for a very long time. I mean, just to be very honest with you. But I had one client here in Atlanta who believed in me, and so I did his one ad every week. And that ad that I did for him allowed me to build my studio.
Now, who was that client? Can you say?
He was a club client.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it was a club client. So every week I did his. And so what started to happen was people started to notice. So there was other clubs. And then in 2010, so now I've been doing this for 4 years, not with great success, marginal success, a lot of failure. But in 2010, I realized that Atlanta wasn't going to be enough for me to actually have a career. And these ads, so what's awesome about these ads, particularly these nightclub and these event ads, these concert ads, there's something that goes on every single week. Okay.
And on the radio stations in Atlanta that promote these clubs, every week your voice is there, your production is there.
Right.
So you're becoming a known sound
Correct.
in Atlanta. And now,
Correct. On an alternative to the guys who have been doing this for a long time, I was a fresh voice as opposed to what they were accustomed to hearing, but still within the context of the way that it's done with this Atlanta sound.
Yeah. And you were being your own voice, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, how did we go from hey, Christopher Lewis, how you doing? Seeing a couple of buddies pop through here. How did you go then from being the producer who's using his voice to a voiceover guy?
Okay, so I had always taken a stab at just the voiceover part of it. So going back to the very beginning, I did the online casting stuff. Mm-hmm. And I nailed some of it. Most of it, no. I always made my money back, which was fine, Mm-hmm. But I also pitched my voice to other producers. So people who may have had other projects, hey, I do voiceover, So I made a little bit of money doing that. Mm-hmm. But the overwhelming bulk of my money came from me producing and voicing the same ads.
Okay.
Yeah. So where were we? We're in 2010, mm-hmm. and recognizing that Atlanta wasn't going to be enough for me to, have a sustainable career. I literally got in my car and started driving to neighboring cities, going to the radio stations, talking to the salespeople at the radio stations, pitching my commercials and saying, hey, I can make these high quality commercials faster than your production department can. So there's often a rift between the production department and the sales team. The sales team wants things fast and they want it good. And the production team is like, hey, we're cranking this out as fast as we can, right?
Yeah.
And the sales team overpromises the clients. And so my pitch was, hey, your production department probably has, 30 things on their docket today.
They're overworked. I can do the extra things faster and a higher quality and a
Correct.
different voice.
And a different voice. And so they were sold. They were sold in a number of markets, and I got a lot of referrals.
Let me interject here.
Mm-hmm.
Just what you did is you offered a service. You found
Mm-hmm.
a need and you offered a service.
Absolutely.
And that's a big lesson for anybody listening. You did not ask for a job. You offered a service.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, so I expanded that, driving to Charlotte, driving to Orlando, driving to Miami, going to Texas. And I expanded that to more local advertisers, mostly who were clubs, because I knew between car ads and club ads, those things get refreshed all the time.
Yeah.
And then I started identifying who were the biggest players in the entertainment space, in the club space. You start to find that the people who do Charlotte also know the people down in Orlando and know the people in Dallas. And so my objective, I targeted the biggest people in each market so
Okay,
that they would refer me.
let me interject again. You targeted the biggest people.
Hmm.
Now, was it any more difficult to get the big people than the little people?
No,
Okay.
no.
And the reason I'm stopping you,
Sometimes getting a contact
yeah.
number or finding them, but once you get to that space, uh, I was I just exuded a certain confidence, like I belonged there already.
Yeah.
So it made having conversations with them easier.
So you were faking it until you were making
I
it.
did. Absolutely.
But you know what?
Absolutely.
The big lesson in this is, I often talk to people who say, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to start with these little companies," and no, go for the big ones. You're going to
Hmm.
spend as much time trying to land that big fish than a small fish, and the rewards will be so much greater.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you a quick story about faking it to making it too. I So I started realizing that people were like, "Hey, but I want to hear your latest work." And I realized that people like to hear these nightclub ads with celebrities in them. So I took,
Ah.
so I went on YouTube and I took a bunch of clips from Rick Ross, and I stitched them together, and Diddy and somebody else, and I stitched them together and made 3 commercials, and then went out and pitched them to these club owners and said, "Yeah, yeah, I'm the guy who does these commercials for Diddy and for Rick Ross and for right."
Ooh, you
And
stretched the truth.
it sold. It sold
I
people.
bet it did.
But the commercials sounded authentically like, they were
Des-
played on the radio.
Despite the fact that they weren't real, kind of like a demo.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like a
Absolutely.
demo.
Yeah.
So
But
now,
don't do your own demo. Don't do your own. Yeah.
good advice there.
Yeah.
So has voiceover become a bigger thing than the production for you now?
So it's very interesting. Things had to change last year with the pandemic
Yeah.
because obviously entertainment, concerts, clubs shut down because of this whole thing. And so I had to start looking at the other side of what I do. The narrations, the commercials, a lot of the connections that I had already made from production companies over the years. And also, I had prior set the infrastructure right for my SEO for my website, which was already starting to make really great progress. So, there was the unfortunate time with George Floyd, and then African American voices started to be recognized. And I was positioned well because my website was very responsive for African American male voiceover, etc.
Yeah.
I had the I had the interview last year with voice actor websites that I posted on my website, where they talked about the steps to attracting work to your website. And I have a very close relationship with them. Joe and Karen, they are amazing and they know their stuff. And so we had already been working closely together for a year and a half on bringing my presence forward in Google. So
Yeah.
that was something and it was just timely.
I'm going to stop you for just a second. There were a couple of messages here I'm going to put up. Christopher Lewis, Dave Fennoy, and Dane Reid, my two favorite Mike brothers in one place. Trey Kendrick Mosley, my boys, Dave and Dane. And just, just some shout outs to you. Had another one. Oh, yeah. And when I said you were lying, Chris Lewis, it's not lying, it's just editing. and Jimmy Bancole, what isn't a lie anyway? So I stand corrected, okay?
The lying is the truth now.
Well, alternative facts, as they say. So now, doing more commercials has just been in the last year or so.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's been more. It's been a lot more. It just wasn't my focus. It wasn't. So I got involved in this industry because I absolutely, this is strange, but I absolutely loved being the announcer. I love being the big voice. And that's so like opposite of the direction that our industry has gone in.
Absolutely.
But it's what I really, really, really love. I love doing that and breaking character from it occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to rewind too. So being involved in creating these club ads got the attention of PDs, program directors. My commercials and my humor in them started becoming a little notorious, in different places. My ability to, to do these reads and sound so, natural with them, natural in the announcer kind of way. And so I started picking up radio stations for imaging, going back, I don't even remember. I want to say maybe 2012, 2013.
Now, 2012, 2013, that's about the time that you and I met.
Yeah, I think we met, I want to say we met maybe in 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was at VO Atlanta.
It was before VO Atlanta. We met, actually, you came for Comic-Con, was it?
Yeah, I was doing a comic. It was Dragon Con.
Dragon Con, yeah,
Dragon
here
Con.
in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was meeting fans and signing autographs, and there you were.
Yeah. We got hooked up through Cosmo Miller.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Cosmo. Oh man. How have you talked to Cos in a while?
I haven't talked to him in a while, but I think he's doing well from what I've seen. I think he's doing well.
I hear from him every few months, and the last time I heard from him, he was doing great. Another little Marion and Toro. She asked Dane Reid, "Do you provide demo production services to other voice actors?"
I don't. I think.
Well, wait a minute. You said I don't so fast.
Yeah. So because this is a question that's been asked of me a lot, and I want to tell you why. So I think there's a difference between producing in the way that I produce and producing and understanding what needs to be in a demo. So those things are very specific. The demo sound, that thing that gets your attention, gets, casting directors' attention, gets the attention of agents and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a science. That is something that you have to have an understanding for.
And it's a difference. It's different from what you do.
It's very different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems to me that the things you're producing for yourself, that for radio stations, for clubs, mm-hmm. is very specific.
It is.
And as you were mentioning, what you like to do as that kind of announcer is kind of the antithesis of the direction the voiceover industry is going in for commercials and even TV promos these days.
I want to be clear though, right? I can voice act.
I believe
can voice
you.
Act my
I
ass
believe
off.
you. I believe you.
But my love, I know what I love. I know what I'm passionate about. But I can switch at any time.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But I wish we could see you and I could put some copy up and have you do that.
Oh,
Speaking
man.
of which, have you seen the little TikTok thing, the voiceover
I did it.
challenge? You did it?
I did it. Yeah, I did it my way. I went back and I edited it. So because I'm an editor, right?
Yeah.
So I instead of me reading straight up live, I posted it on YouTube. Instead of me reading live, I went back, I edited it, I chopped it up, I smoothed it out, made the music sound all good and everything. My voice sounds all good, and then I put it out there. And I'm gonna tell you because we were talking about before we came on, we were talking about marketing.
Right.
I saw someone an agent say, "Yeah, I don't need to see this challenge anymore." Right. So this is a slight difference in my business model. A lot of people sent it to their agent. I sent it to my clients.
Smart. And I don't think the problem was people sending it to their own agents.
Okay.
I think the problem was people sending it to agents they wanted to get the attention of. And I had several agents, friends of mine, that like, man, I am so sick of getting these TikTok voiceover challenge in my mailbox. What makes these people think that I'm going to take them on from that? And a couple of people asked me, no, I'm not going to do it. It's just no.
So the response from contacts that I already have, from clients that I already have, was, wow, that sounded great.
Yeah.
Right. So it was another. I think about touches. I think about how many times do I have any kind of contact with my contacts, my previous clients, anyone who I've talked to. The idea is that you don't need a voiceover talent right now, but you might need a voiceover talent in 3 weeks or 3 months, 3 years maybe. Yeah. And you're going to remember, wow, that Dane Reid, he sounded really good on that TikTok challenge back in 2021, and so, so sometimes I send people my latest work. Right. Hey, here's a commercial that I just did. I use a CRM, so it helps me.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I call that planting seeds, and you never know what tree is going to grow, how long it's going to take. I was doing a class. I was taking a class a number of years ago. I wanted to meet the casting director, one of the casting directors from Disney. So I took this evening workshop with her, and several other people were there, and one of them was Big Lou, buddy of mine, blues guy, also does voiceover. And when she saw Big Lou, she said, "Oh, Big Lou, how are you?" And she told the story of him giving her his demo 5 years before. And he actually came in and read for something for her 5 years before. And just before this workshop, she had sought him out and hired him for a Disney cartoon because she remembered. So plant those seeds. You don't know when that tree is going to grow.
And one of the things that you started with was talking about my travels. I've realized that even my travels have become part of my marketing. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
But, people are interested in you as a person, not just as a voice. And so I'd see clients, wow, you went such and such. And we have conversations, just about, hey, I visited such and, I've always wanted to go there. Like someone told me years ago, people do business with their friends.
It's true.
And so I genuinely try to relate to people on a human level. And so, travel is something that's aspirational.
Yeah.
And it's something that, for whatever the motivation is, everyone wants to see most people, I should say, want to see and learn. They want to experience, and they want to take a break from their normal lives. And people see that in me and the way that I live my life, and it's interesting to them, and it sparks conversation. And
You,
so,
you know,
for
one of the
instance,
things I
hmm?
find, I find that when I've gone on a trip someplace, seen new things, met new
Hmm.
people, had some different experiences, different foods,
Hmm.
I come back refreshed and powered up again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's just a human thing. It's another thing that we have in common, whether they've actually traveled or like I've gotten so many times living vicariously through you, oh, okay, great. By the way, I'm a voiceover guy, and while I'm gone, I take this microphone with me, and
That was going to be my next, because I know you travel a lot. I mean, you
yeah,
travel several times a year,
yeah,
just for your own enjoyment. Do
yeah.
you take recording equipment with you?
Yeah, I used to
What's your
travel with my Sennheiser, and everyone who has a Sennheiser knows the airport stories of being stopped. And I've had some.
Oh
I
yeah,
had a
they
guy.
think it's a
Yeah,
gun.
I'm sorry.
They think it's a gun.
Yeah, yeah. I had the people in LaGuardia told me that one guy in Hawaii yelled out an obscenity. Oh, and then I was like, that's my Sennheiser. I knew it. But yeah, so I travel with my Sennheiser. And I also bought I have an Apollo at the house,
Hmm.
but I have the what's the smaller
The
unit
Apollo
called?
Twin.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The Apollo Twin.
I have the twin in the house,
Okay.
but I travel with
The Apollo Arrow.
Arrow. I travel with the Arrow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brain fart.
You know what? And that is the 416. And there was a question here. I'm just gonna put it up because it's been there for a while. What kind of mic is Dane using? You're using
So
that
I
four
use
six.
so
You're
I
using
use a
that 416
416.
now. You're on it
Generally
now, aren't you?
speaking, I'm sorry.
You're on the 416 now.
I'm on the 416 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Got another question for you here, Dane. Do you think the route you take with VO limits your opportunities?
No. No, absolutely not. So, I think it expands my opportunities because I'm able to do what I can do, and I can voice act.
Yeah,
So
and
it allows me to take the product directly to the client, and that sustained me for, gosh, since, like I said, since 2006.
and you're
And
actually doing something that almost nobody else is doing.
yeah, there are a lot of people who do it, but not a lot of people who are really well known for doing it.
Yeah, yeah,
And so it makes sense. It allows me to do this over here and this over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got another question here. This one is a little involved. Uh, Quick question, family. First, thanks for giving jewels as always, Dave and Dane. Love you both. Is it okay to market yourself as a producer, editor, and voice versus just a voice? Are most agents just looking for a voice? Do you get typecast for or penalized for knowing how to do it all and well? Oh, please
Okay.
take that.
So,
I've got some things that I want to jump on there, but
well,
you're the guest, so go
one of
for
the
it.
things is that when I go to an agent, when I go to a casting director, I'm not selling a commercial to them. I'm selling only my voice. So I I play the role of a voiceover talent when I need to play the role of a voiceover talent, and I play the role of a voiceover talent and producer when I'm selling a complete product directly to a client. And these are local clients who are not going to go through the process of finding a casting director and an ad agency. They need a commercial and they need it fast. they went to the radio station and they want to put their mom and pop store or their mom and pop product or their event, and they don't have, they don't have the creative juices and the understanding of how our big voiceover world works.
Yeah.
For them, I got to get this to the radio. It's important to my business. They're not AT&T, and keep in mind too, my portfolio does include a lot of big companies, but I've done literally thousands and thousands of these small ads, which are on the radio for a week or 2 weeks, and then they're discarded. And then they need new commercials.
Yeah. And that money spends too?
That money spends.
That money can go in a savings account or checking account, and it'll buy stuff too, just like the money from the big clients.
Listen. The money has taken me all around the world several times over.
Yeah.
So it's good money, it's honest money, and when my agent calls, when an agent calls, when anybody else calls for just voiceover work, I do that too.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna change directions here.
Sure.
You did a little piece on your website that said, "I don't like to audition."
I hate it.
Well, I got an idea what your business model is.
Yeah.
And it's so different than almost anybody I know in the voiceover business. So what is it you hate about auditioning?
To me, the idea that I put out all of this energy and then I'm just sitting there, I'm floating and I'm competing and, gosh, I'm just waiting for somebody to give me some validation. Like
somebody love me. Somebody love me.
Yeah, I might starve like that. I mean, like what keeps me busy is voicing and producing. And then there's the voiceover work. And of course we were talking about pre-pandemic. So everything has shifted a lot since the pandemic. Also, too, I keep ignoring the fact that, I do also imaging, and imaging has been really good to me as well. So that's just another area of voicing. And I don't do the production for the imaging except when I have they're like DJs find me and they're like, hey, can you produce some sweepers for my internet radio station? And so I'll do that stuff instead of, having them do it. I'll produce that, send it over to them real quick. So that's another, those are some burgers and fries when those guys come through, because that's not work that, makes a ton of money, but through volume, that works out.
Well, back to that auditioning thing. I say all the time that our actual job is to audition.
Yes, I remember you telling me that some years ago.
Yeah, because that the getting the work is the work, and the auditioning is how you get the work. Because what I know for me, when I book the job, hey, I'm just having fun.
Right.
So
I put marketing ahead of auditioning, and then there's a time in my day that I take for auditioning. So the auditioning does pay off.
Yeah. So now you're not doing pay-to-play sites or anything like that. You have some agents and perhaps some clients.
Right. I get the cattle calls, and I audition for them, and I land some, and then I don't land a whole bunch others. That's the way that it works a lot of times.
That's the way it works for everybody. People are constantly surprised when what are you doing? Well, I'm doing some auditions today. You have to audition? You've been doing this for 30 years. He said, I have to. Yeah. Everybody I know, no matter where they are. The only person I know that didn't have to do a lot of auditions was Don LaFontaine.
Okay.
Everybody else, we're all doing it. The Bob Bergens, the Joe Ciprianos. Everybody's auditioning.
Yeah.
Now,
but I hate it. I just want to say I hate it.
But
But
you
I do
have
it.
but you have a
I do
method.
it.
You have a
I do it.
7-step method. Tell me about your
Yeah.
7-step method.
So, for me, I had to put a structure to how I audition because I need to be able to audition and get rid of it. Like, I don't want to be emotionally attached to it. I know that there are VO talent who obsess over
Yes, they
not
do.
only how they read each line, but also how they edit each line together.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So editing is, oh my gosh, wait, I didn't say it right. Let me cut that out. Let me say it like this. Let me insert it. Let me, compress it this way. There are people who are absolutely obsessed with that. And for me, it's just about a dry read, a second read, understanding it, memorizing it to a certain degree so that I don't come across as reading it, owning it, um, doing it again. And then I feel like on the seventh read, it's kind of like it's mine.
Yeah.
I'm oversimplifying it, of course, but this is basically the process that I go through.
Well, it's interesting. What the thing I do, and I'm just mentioning this because I mention it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the 3 and 3. Read it 3 times in your head, then mouth it 3 times. Just
Mm-hmm.
kind of mumble it, and you get to do all your research on, what you're actually saying during
Mm-hmm.
all that. And by the time you try a performance, the words are only there to remind you of what you're saying. You're not actually reading. And when you're reading, you have to read phrase to phrase to phrase to phrase, not word to word to word to word.
Yeah,
But
so the way that I do it with the dry read and listening back to it is, does that sound like it would be aired? Right?
could
Is
be, could be.
that's the way that I think about it. Did it when I read it that way, would anybody else find that to be believable? And then how can I do that better? Do I own that? Is that a reflection of me and the way that I would actually speak if I was talking to Dave about Velveeta, let's say? All right?
And we've never had a conversation about Velveeta.
No, no. We've had some cheesy conversations before.
True that, but not Velveeta. Oh my goodness.
That was a dad joke, and I'm not even a dad.
Well, get careful, you world traveler. You have somebody knocking on your door one day.
No, no.
Oh boy. So before we get out of here, any other questions? If you got some questions for Dane, now is a good time to ask. So, and
I'm gonna put a question out there as well.
Okay.
Because I've been mulling over something personal. Maybe the VO community can help me out here. Working in VO, and I don't know how to say this. So if you know any talent who has worked professionally and had their teeth fixed, like braces. Yeah, so like I'm in this space right now. So Dave's audience, please chime in, tell me what you think. I'm in this space right now, and I want to get braces. I've always wanted to get braces, and I'm afraid of getting braces. I know people are going to say, well, get, Invisalign, you can take it out or whatever. But I'm leaning towards braces, but I'm afraid of sounding different. Do you have any experience with that, Dave? Do you know anyone?
Well, you know what? Marion Toro says, me. I do have experience with braces, but
Okay,
this is
talk to
going
me.
back to when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And if you look at my teeth, they must have been really bad because they're still crooked. But the braces did not change how I spoke.
Okay.
Mostly what the braces did was, for a day or two after I went to see the orthodontist, there was some pain. or as
Okay.
he would because we don't say hurt or pain, we say it tickles.
Okay.
But it did not affect how I spoke. Now, what it did affect, I was playing the trumpet then.
Uh-huh.
And I had to give up the trumpet because, pushing your lips, your
Yeah.
embouchure up against
Yeah.
those braces was problematic.
I'm a little
And
afraid. I can't lie, and I wanted to know if anyone had any experience with this working as a professional.
yeah,
So,
I've got an answer here, Marion and Toro. Don't be afraid and you won't sound different. Don't be afraid
okay.
you won't sound different. You just need to work your mouth to adjust the feel of the braces.
Okay.
Sarah Cart says no, it won't. It won't make a difference. Let's see. And Marion says Invisalign may be the best so that you can remove them.
Yeah.
Jim Bancole, braces ain't a problem. I've got a bridge, dentures.
All right.
Let's see. For both of you, should voiceover artists have business? Question for both of us.
Okay. Talk to me.
Should voiceover artists have business insurance?
That's a good question.
That is an interesting. I do not have business insurance.
I don't, but maybe that's something that would be beneficial. Like, I mean, look, insurance is great for any kind of loss, and we invest a lot
Yeah, we do.
into this stuff, right? Like
I have
all of this equipment. Like so I've been to your home, and what you have invested in your business, and the same with me, and anyone listening is likely to be the same. Yeah, like I guess it's something that maybe we should think about.
I have insurance for theft if someone were to
Mhm.
break into my
Right.
home. I don't have business insurance per se, but I
Okay.
might need to talk to somebody about that. Listen, I've got a guy here, Bernard Tanner. I'm a local voiceover talent living in Marietta, Georgia. Is there a way to contact Dane Reid? I would love to meet, speak, and learn some things from him. You're pretty easy to find, are you not?
I'm really easy to find, but if you're trying to learn, Dave Fennoy is the guy.
Well, you know what? And I agree with you, but there's things that you can learn from me, but there's some things different that you can learn from you.
Yeah.
And there may be some people that want to contact you to dive deeper into your methods.
Yeah, so
I know you don't want to give up all your marketing secrets, but
No.
I think the fact that you have built your business on self-marketing is a testament in and of itself.
Right. And it's been hard, but I figured it out. I didn't have a marketing background or anything, but I figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now let me sum up some of the things I heard from you.
Okay.
Marketing, you're hitting as many people as you can.
Mhm.
You are sharing yourself as a human being, not just, can I have some work? You are offering
Oh,
your
yeah.
services,
Mhm.
which means you want to find out what they need and,
Absolutely.
and give them that.
And sometimes, often I'll contact people and I don't want anything. Hey, how you doing? You all right? Talk to people on a level of things that we are all interested in. And by the way, yeah, I mean, I'm the voiceover guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that can be with clients you already have and
Yeah.
people that could possibly be clients.
Mhm.
But you come at them as a human being. I talk about marketing with students of mine, and the big place to market these days is LinkedIn, as opposed to getting in your car and driving to Texas and hitting
Yeah.
every place along the way.
It's different, but it worked.
But the same rules apply. You can't just find a bunch of developers, broadcast producers, casting directors, and send them that note that says, "Hi, I'm so and so. Would you like to use my services?" Nobody is going to respond positively to that.
Mhm.
You have to show people that you're a person. You have to show an interest in them, the things they do. You've got to
Yeah.
give them just a little humanity.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you can bring people on your side and who want to work with you.
Yeah. Show them that, you can be of value to them on multiple fronts, and people will respond.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
So, so with the pandemic, you haven't been able to hit all those countries that you used to hit. I used to be a little bit jealous. I mean, I travel a lot too. I've been
Yeah.
over most of the world, and
Yeah.
but you were traveling more than I. How does this pandemic made you feel? Do you feel confined?
It's made me work harder,
Mm.
quite honestly. Yeah, it's actually made me work harder. Um, and I like to smell the roses more than I like to work. To be honest with you, I work to live. I'm not a guy who lives to work,
Mm.
and so it's been very different. But I've been enjoying it though. I really have been enjoying it. As human beings, we have to learn to put on different hats. We need to be able to learn to adjust. We can't be afraid. We cannot be afraid of change. And when change first hit me, it was a little difficult. I don't know if I've discussed with you last year. I was also very sick at the same time, and I had some personal tragedy. My brother passed away, so all of this was happening all at the same time. But I had to swim. I just had to swim, and then I had to enjoy swimming, and so it's different. I'm gonna go back to traveling. I've actually already started. I went to St. Croix last week, and that was the first time I flew since this time last year when I almost got stuck in Peru. And yeah, I took a
There are
flight,
probably
early
worse
flight.
places to be stuck.
Yeah, but Peru was bad. They got the pandemic pretty bad.
Ah, okay.
And like I said, I actually got sick in Peru, which was the beginning of my sickness, which lasted most of last year.
Oh boy.
And but it was challenging, and it's been challenging. But I want to get back to the things that we enjoy, and I think the only way to do that is, we're getting these vaccines, and have no fear, so be smart, but you know, don't be afraid. Do what we need to do. I've already gotten my first Pfizer shot, and I'm waiting another 2 weeks, and then you'll see me up in the air. I've actually flown 2 round trips in the past week.
Yeah,
So that's the first.
it was funny. I was scrolling through Facebook, and I thought, "What's he doing in New York?"
Yeah, I went to New York for the day. I celebrated my birthday on Monday, so I spent the day in New York, handling some personal business. Around your birthday,
Oh yeah.
all the business happens on your birthday. Like, you have to pay and you have to do things, right? So I was handling personal business
So,
in New York, and
not a
then I came
party,
back that day.
business for your birthday.
Yeah, you said what?
I say not a party, business for
No.
your birthday.
Yeah, yeah, but so we went to St. Croix last week. I came back on Friday. I went to New York Sunday night, came back Monday afternoon, and we'll see where I end up next.
Well, you know what? I'll be following you on Facebook to find out where you're going, and you
Y-
also, just give a brother a call and let me
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And
Look,
you can
we're
even
friends.
check
You
in
don't
and
got to
say,
follow me on Facebook.
Fennoy,
Just
I'm going to such and such a place. You want to hang?
Dave. I'll tell you. I wanted to before this pandemic. So I travel every year around my birthday, and I wanted to put together a group of people to travel to the Middle East and hit up certain places. I wanted to go to Jordan. I wanted to go to Israel. I wanted to go to Egypt. And I was going to put together a group of people who have a serious interest in traveling. But this happened. And so,
Yeah,
maybe next year. Let's
maybe
see what
not.
happens next year.
Well, I think around the fall we may be at a point where people can do a lot of traveling. But listen, I told you we were only going to talk for an hour.
I can talk to you for more than that, Dave.
Believe
You know
me,
how we
we
do.
have had those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm going to cut it short because that's what I got to
Okay.
do. I think I got dinner waiting upstairs.
All right.
But Dane Reid, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry we weren't able to get the camera working through your Dell. They just would not do what it was
I
supposed
think it
to
was a
do.
translation problem. My Dell is working fine. Like I can see myself. It's your Mac that can't see me.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let you get away with that. Oh, my buddy Randall Ryan. I don't know if you know him. He's been on. He's a casting director and voiceover
Okay.
director for video games. He's count me in on the travel group. Just saying.
I mean, just hit me up on Facebook.
There you go. There you
Just
go.
send me a message on Facebook and I'll add you and just keep talking to me and I'll let you know when it comes about.
All right, and one last message, Sarah Cart. Your story sounds amazing and wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And she is echoing my sentiments exactly.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. And we will talk soon. I'll let you go now and say goodbye to this audience. And as usual, if you want voiceover lessons, DaveFennoy.com. If you are looking to see this again or any of the other Ask Dave Fennoy's anything, they live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. And I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, book something. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.